Hello, everyone, and welcome to United Way. Live United. I'm Terry Westerfield. And joining me today on the Live United program, I want to welcome my guests who are colleagues and friends from United Way of Southeast Louisiana. And we're here to talk about something very important, financial stability. Welcome to the program, Odessa Adams-Payne, who is the Director of Financial Stability for United Way SELA. Hi, Odessa.
Hi, Terry.
Also joining us today, Michelle Green. Now, Michelle is the IDA Senior Case Manager at United Way SELA. Hi, Michelle Green.
Good morning, Terry.
I'll tell you what, those of you who are joining us today, I think we all can agree that financial stability is key for individuals, for families, and our communities to thrive. Now, United Way of Southeast Louisiana partners with a number of other nonprofits, with businesses and government agencies and programs because we want to help residents in our 7-parish region build their financial resources and in turn be building a better life. And to start off all this, I want to say, Odessa, you are known around the community, around the state, I think around the country for all your expertise in some of the programs that we're involved in and trying to help people live the best life possible. And when I say that, when we say we're building financial resources, we're not talking about making somebody a millionaire, although it could happen. But what we're talking about is giving someone that opportunity, and in often cases, to break that cycle of financial poverty, to go on and up and be the best they can be.
Yes, so United Way has one initiative, and they're also the fiduciary over another program. So the initiative is the Individual Development Account Project, and that is a special type of account that allows low to moderate income people to purchase an asset like a home, start or expand a small business, post-secondary education, and also a vehicle purchase. And the way that program works is if a person can save up to $1,500 for homeownership and the business and receive a 4-to-1 match, which would be $6,000. And for post-secondary education, they can save up to $1,000 and receive 4-to-1 match, which is $4,000 for the vehicle purchase and the post-secondary education, as I mentioned.
All right, now first thoughts. Anybody listening to us today is going to say, whoa, that sounds too good to be true. And how do I become part of the IDA or the Individual Development Account Program? But there is a lot of criteria. I mean, it's not just giving money away.
Correct.
And Michelle, go ahead, weigh in.
Usually we have clients that come from two different ways. One would be to call through our call-in line, which is 504-827-6862. And
I am going to stop you right there because you know people are right now scrambling to find some paper and something to write with.
I'll repeat
so one more time.
504-827-6862. And when they call us, it'll take us a few days to get back because we do get numerous calls. And myself and the other case manager would give those individuals a call and see if they're eligible just by telephone. We have a conversation with them and we ask them some particular questions just to see if they're eligible by phone. And if they are, then we do some follow-up documentation.
Well, can you stop and give us an example of what some of those questions might be? Because I would imagine right off the top do they have the opportunity to even be involved because of their income level?
One would be the parish that they live in. We do get calls from parishes that are outside our servicing area. The parishes that we serve being Orleans, Jefferson, Tangipahoa, St. Tammany, St. Bernard, Washington, and Plaquemines parishes. But if they're calling, living in Baton Rouge Parish or Ascension or something like that, then we could not service those because they're not part of our servicing area. One other thing is that they have to have earned income. So individuals on fixed income like Social Security or some type of disability, those are not considered earned income. So those individuals would have to have, a salaried job or self-employment where they can prove their income with 2 years of tax returns. They also have to have a net worth of less than $10,000, and we help them to calculate that by phone, so we can make sure that they're not over asset limit of $10,000. And those are some of the basic questions. Their address, telephone number, that type of thing. We always ask them that.
Now, who sets the limits, Michelle or Dessa? Because, again, people listening right now saying, well, $10,000, where did that figure come from?
Well, actually, we receive our funds from the federal government, from the Assets for Independence, the Department of Health and Human Services, and they are the ones that set this guideline. But typically, if a person is eligible for the TANF benefits or earned income tax credits, usually they are eligible for our project. So that is some of the criteria. And you also have to meet some income guidelines, which is very important. And those income guidelines are dictated by the number of people that are in your household. For instance, a single person cannot earn over $23,340.
Right.
And a family of four cannot earn over $47,700. So it depends on the number of people that are in the household.
Would it be correct to say that often, and this is not meant to be a slight, but these are hardworking and often considered the working poor, holding down several jobs just to try to make ends meet?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. As I mentioned a little earlier, they're people that's usually eligible for the TANF benefits, like the food stamps, the child care, the cash benefits, that sort of thing. And the earned income tax credits.
And this is giving them a chance to get out of that cycle of poverty, to move up. And we're going to talk about several things, because let me switch from IDA. We're going to come back to this. But you just mentioned, makes a great segue, EITC,
right.
The earned income tax credit. We often talk about that, and you'll come and visit on the program at the end of the year and at the beginning again. But it's never too soon to explain what EITC is, why it is so important, and it's really about dollars that people earned and keeping the money they earned.
Right. Actually, earned income tax credits is one of the largest anti-poverty programs that the federal government offers, and it is a way for those individuals that work to get some additional funding through this credit that the federal government offers. And many individuals are eligible for this earned income tax credit. And once they get this earned income tax credit, they can actually open up an individual development account with those funds.
So the two are working
They
hand
work
in glove.
hand. They
Yes.
work hand in hand. And we have had some successful graduates to drop the lump sum of money in, even though they have to continue saving for 6 months. They drop that lump sum of money of whatever that maximum savings amount is in their account, and later on purchase their assets after they have gone through all of the different pieces of the IDA project.
Well, it seems to me this is just, it's a no-brainer, as they say, because this is money that has been earned.
Right.
It's being returned.
Correct.
It's helping the individual or families do better, and our whole community, because even people listening to this radio show and or vendors or others, it's keeping those dollars here. So we all grow stronger.
Right.
Right. Now, we're just not, giving you that money away. We want something in return from you as well.
Always.
It's never free. No.
Correct. So as one of the mandates that goes along with being a participant in the IDA project is that you are going to be responsible for taking 12 hours of financial education, which includes helping you stay on task in terms of a budget, knowing just some basic banking concepts, knowing how to read your credit report, setting goals and sticking with them. So it's a number of different topics that you learn about in that 12 hours of financial education.
And Odessa or Michelle, where that almost seems like that should be an obvious requirement, it seems like that for many people in our area, they don't know how to balance a checkbook, or may not have a bank account, or even the young folks coming up. I remember that used to be, I think, part of a civics class that I had to take eons ago, and that doesn't happen as much. So a lot of people really are unaware how to do the most basic things regarding their banking.
A lot of the families and individuals that we serve have had no formal introduction to financial education or financial literacy. So this is a great opportunity for them to learn some of the aspects that Odessa mentioned just a minute ago about balancing, even a checkbook, knowing how to read their credit report, knowing how to order one for themselves. So financial education is something not just to be carried through the IDA, but this is for lifetime learning. So they can expand on their knowledge about how to handle their finances and, not be taken advantage of by some industries that are out here today that really wreak havoc on low to income, moderate income individuals and families.
And sometimes we're talking about predatory lending, I would think. Yeah.
Yes.
Because especially we always hear that, again, around tax time, because people really can be quite desperate to have their funds, and so they'll go elsewhere, and then sometimes by the time they get done paying off what they've owed, the interest on what they've borrowed, there's literally almost nothing left.
That's why tax season is so important for our IDA participants, because we want them to receive some free services to get their taxes done, as opposed to paying, bucket loads of money just to receive their dollars that they've earned the whole year for, and then you're paying $400 or $500, if not more, just to have your return prepared. So going to some free tax sites, helps our clients out a whole lot.
Now, how are we involved? How is United Way? And it's the Asset Building Coalition, right?
Yeah,
right.
United Way is the lead organization for the Asset Building Coalition of Southeast Louisiana, and it is a coalition of nonprofit organizations that provide free tax preparation services for our hardworking taxpayers of Southeast Louisiana. The coalition has been in existence for about 6 years, and we have about 25 different partners with about 39 sites across Southeast Louisiana. And so far, we have been able to do some really amazing things. In the 6 years that we've been in existence, we have helped our low to moderate income taxpayers put back over $60 million in taxes back into our local community.
Wow. Say that again.
Over $60 million.
Unbelievable. Yes. And if we hadn't had this program or been working to promote it, a lot of that money would have never been returned to the individuals of the community.
Correct. Yes.
Wow. Well, Odessa, do me a favor. We talk about the Asset Building Coalition. You said it's this broad-based umbrella, but could you or would you like to name some of those great partners that we have?
Some of the partners that we have at the table are Dillard University, Catholic Charities, Total Community Action, Loyola University, Southern University, Xavier University, Help LA, Lafourche Community Concerned Citizens, Holy Cross College,
so many.
Tulane University.
But it shows you've got a lot of universities and colleges because they understand that, again, the significance of this. How does it work then? Because I know they're VITA sites, but can you explain that it's, again, not too early? Because I think we're looking for help, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We're actually looking for volunteers to work at some of our local VITA sites. And the way that it works is all of these taxes are prepared by certified volunteers who have been certified through IRS to do tax preparations at the local VITA sites. And we have volunteers who have been a part of the program for over 30 years, 25 years, 20 years. So it's an amazing program that offers an enormous service to the low to moderate taxpayers of Southeast Louisiana. So as Terry mentioned, we are looking for some volunteers to train to provide this service to the people of Southeast Louisiana.
Now, what should they do if someone out there is listening? And I know I've had the great pleasure of meeting volunteers in the past. Some have been retired IRS.
Right.
Other have been retired professors. And some have been folks who just were looking for something to do, went ahead, were good with numbers, got certified through the IRS, and enjoy just meeting people and helping.
Where we're actually working on a tool on our website where people can actually go to the website, and the website address is www.unitedwaysela.org, and type in your name and your information, and that information will come to me, and I will pass that information on to the proper people. So again, the website address is www.unitedwaysela.org. And please sign up if you're interested in providing this wonderful service.
How many volunteers do you need?
As many as we could get, because we are trying our very best to open up as many centers as we can throughout Southeast Louisiana. Although we have 39 sites, there are still many pockets that are underserved, and we are trying to get in all of those areas. When we look at the statistics and look at the number of people in some parts of our communities, there's basically no service at all, just paid preparers. And not saying that there's no need for paid preparers, but if a person can get the same service done for free, then why not get it done for free? Because although $500 may not seem like a lot of money, if you're getting a huge amount of money at one time, $7,000 or $8,000, later on down the line, you're going to think about what you possibly could have done with that money.
I was going to say $500 seems enough to
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
I would
Significant.
certainly like to do it. Well, how does being so we're looking for VITA or volunteers, and as many as we can get because you have the 39 sites and want more. But again, how does this all roll into the things that you're doing with IDA? Which came first, kind of the chicken or the egg?
We've had our individual development account project first. We started that project back in 2007, and we became involved with the VITA program. I think it was like the very next year. IRS came to us and asked that we would be interested in starting a coalition and looking into writing some grant proposals to do some VITA services. And after a lot of talking and meeting, we decided that it was something that we wanted to do. So we realized that it was a really good fit for the programs fit very well together, where people could get their taxes prepared for free. And once they got their taxes prepared for free, they could actually enroll in the individual development account. We look at when they come in, meeting all of the federal guidelines and the guidelines that are dictated by United Way as well. We want to make sure that, they're credit ready. Mm-hmm. So if they're having any type of credit issues, we send them out to some of our partners that work with our IDA to get credit counseling along with that financial education. And they're also going to be responsible for taking some asset-specific training depending on which asset they choose to purchase. So the two programs, work hand in glove. They work very well together.
Now, I know that it's originally, and I think still a very big partner, has been the Entergy, because the
Absolutely.
good folks there, Patty Riddlebarger, Charles Rice, we could go on and on. But talk a little bit about that, because folks, United Way of Southeast Louisiana is a nonprofit. We are here for you, for the community, to help. But it is you giving back to us through your generous gifts, and that of corporate dollars too, and it's through foundations. We always have to be very clear. People understand this isn't off your electric bill or something, your energy bill.
Right.
This is from their foundation, because again, they see the benefit to all of us who live in Southeast Louisiana.
Entergy Charitable Foundation has been the best partner that we could ever have in terms of both our individual development account and with our VITA program. with our individual development account, they have they have invested over $1.3 million in it so far. And with our VITA program, they have invested pretty close to $100,000 to help us market earned income tax credits and the VITA program. So they have been wonderful, wonderful partners to us.
Those dollars get leveraged too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, Michelle, maybe you could give us some numbers about the return on our investment for the IDA.
Yeah, during our last IDA program, we did purchases of 228 total for that whole time span. We helped individuals purchase 174 homes, which amounted to nearly $21 million and some change, making an average cost of each home at about $124,000.
Oh, wait a minute. I've got to stop because this is just amazing to me. Again, for people who are listening, that's because these leveraged dollars, they're saving against the government and everybody.
Right. Throughout the 7 parishes, it was 174 homes that were purchased, $21,400,000 and some change in dollars that were used to purchase these homes, average cost being about $124,000. So it was a significant amount to be put back into the community, through these home purchases. Our vehicle purchases, we did about 48 vehicle purchases of about $867,000, average cost being just a little over $18,000. So you can get a pretty decent car at that average, whether it was new or a certified used vehicle. We did 6 child care centers, which amounted to $60,000 at $10,000 each, for the average cost. So the investment to the community being $21 million and some change. So that's significant.
Oh, I'm just going to say very significant.
That's significant.
Well, Michelle, let me ask, because when we hear vehicles that you can purchase, some people are saying, what? Again, I could use a car. But what's so great about this, you're meeting the criteria, but people may have been able to, because they can purchase a car, can now get a better job. Or be able to do, if they're still trying to keep multiple jobs, get to and from, because sometimes public transportation is not always available or adequate for their needs.
Yeah, those that came in through the program last year, most of them may have had a vehicle, but it was on average about 10 years old. So, the life isn't there very much. So they needed a vehicle, and they were working 2 jobs trying to get from one place to the other. They had small children where they had to travel to pick them up from aftercare or before care, whatever it was. So these individuals were able to better themselves, because if they purchased a better vehicle, they could get to the next job where it would pay them a little bit more than where they were now. So that was one way of helping them get an asset that was meaningful, even though we look at vehicles as a depreciation aspect, but it's an appreciation because they have a chance to better themselves financially with a better vehicle.
Well, I know when you're talking about child care centers, because I think when we originally began the program, after Katrina,
that was a need.
That was a need because parents could not go to work if they didn't have quality child care services for their children. And so we were very focused, but that's shifted a bit now, hasn't it? Actually, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, that has shifted. Now we have opened it up to, all businesses, because during the last project, especially during the peak of the project, individuals were calling in for other types of business, like lawn care or a seamstress, just different types of businesses. So this time around, we elected to open it up to different types. But, they have to have some kind of background with that. You don't just wake up and say, I want to do a florist shop, and you don't know a micro rose from a daisy. So, you need to have done some type of preparation. We do have one individual in the program who is in for business, and she's doing a lawn care service, but she has licenses and certifications to handle certain types of chemicals that will be used in lawn care service, and she already has one contractual agreement with the business to do their lawn service, but she works full time. So at some point she anticipates doing her business on a full-time basis, but because she is starting, and that's what this is for, because she is starting, this will afford her the opportunity to purchase, other lawn equipment, lawn mowers, hedgers, and, things that go along with that type of business.
Become her own business.
Yes.
That's
yes,
amazing.
Yes.
Well, what about, you said something about a seamstress. I find that kind of interesting. And tell me, I could always use what I'm
right. We got a call last
in and
time,
taking in and out all the time.
Because she had a portfolio of, of her work, but she didn't have the space. So she wanted a, brick and mortar type place to have her business, because she needed to be able to store, bulk material. She needed a place for her notions. She may have needed different types of sewing machines and sergers or whatever, again, that goes along with that. But she had a background in that profession because she made ball gowns, she made dresses, she made wedding gowns. So she had a portfolio of things that, she had already done. So that was a leg up for her. So, those types of things, not just, just waking up with a bright idea of doing a business and you have no clue as to
there was a lot
what
of
it is
sweat
that
and
you're
tears
trying to
already
do.
put into
There's some work already done.
Well, does that mean then, Odessa or Michelle, that do the rules change any, or the requirements from the government? You're saying, Michelle, that you can't just wake up and have an idea per se. It's still.
I mean, the rules are the same no matter what asset that the person decides to purchase. But what we're looking for when we make people eligible for the project is we're looking for people that can be successful. So as Michelle mentioned, it's not some fly-by-night idea that you just came up with and you've not done anything towards it. So we're not trying to set people up for failure. We want to make sure that once you come into the program, you're actually going to be successful at what you do. So you have to have a sound business plan. You need to sit down and write out a plan that our certified trainers will approve that says, I'm going to do this to get from point A to point B and to become successful at it. So it's not just, I want to do this and we allow you to come in. We're looking for people who can be successful, who have a drive and who have a passion to be able to a commitment right. to finish the entire process.
Because this isn't, as you said, it's a process. It's not going to just snap your fingers and
right.
happens overnight.
Exactly. Right. So one of the things is you have to be in the project for at least 6 months before we allow you to spend any of your money towards the purchase of your assets. So we're looking for behaviors to be changed. Not just start saving and stop once you meet your asset goal, but continue saving, because you never know when that rainy day might come when you might need some extra cash to go along. So it's about changing behaviors.
Okay, that's a good lesson
right.
we could all learn right
That's
there.
why the trainings are so important to, get those behaviors changed and to keep those changed behaviors going on beyond IDA.
Well, ladies, believe it or not, this has just gone by so quickly. We are almost out of time.
Right.
Please, you had a couple numbers and the web address. Let's give those again. Now, first of all, since we are talking IDA, if there is a number that you should call, and I believe, Michelle, that was you.
For the IDA is 504-827-6862. And individuals can come in through other agencies if they're already a partner of some of the agencies that are part of the IDA program, but that's one sure way to get through to us, and that's 504-827-6862. Just leave your name and number, speak clearly, and myself or the other case manager will call you back.
And Odessa, please, with VITA, we need help so that we can get all that earned income tax credits back into the community.
So we're looking for volunteers, and if you're interested in becoming a volunteer, you can go to United Way's website, which is www.unitedwaysela.org.
Thank you so much. Odessa Adams-Payne, the Director of Financial Stability for United Way of Southeast Louisiana. Michelle Green, who is the IDA Senior Case Manager. And I'm Terry Westerfield. And for United Way, join me, ladies. Live
United.